Okay, hi, we're here with Noel Watson and with Wendy Gray. Noel, it's such a joy to meet you. You were at Big Mac the day before it came down. It would just be such an honor to hear your experience of what happened there.
I'd been spending time down at Big Mac since just prior to Christmas when the word went out that the tree was under threat, and spent quite a lot of time, just basically enjoying the space under the tree and meeting some great people and really concerned about what's going on around Tamaki Makaurau in particular with this destruction of the urban forest. So, yeah, we spent quite a lot of time and developed a relationship with the tree and this just beautiful space. And it's quite a paradox, really, that Ash Street in Avondale, which is one of the busiest roads in town, carrying thousands of cars a day, right there, and then in fact next to it, there's this beautiful, tranquil space, shaded from the summer sun, and was just a really lovely place to be. So, and then it was coming to the day, and we were aware that the developers, Ockham and council, together, the heat was coming on. They wanted to get on, and there'd already been a delay. They'd actually had to go on the 1st of January, New Year's Day, to fell Big Mac, and got foiled at the time. They had a massive crane sitting there for probably 2 weeks, and then took that away, and so it was a reprieve for the tree. And then, it became obvious. And then there was a deal done with Manarakau to make allowances for other tree protection and so on. But within that, I just had the connection with the tree, and I wasn't prepared to go along with that. And myself, there was quite a few others, including Caleb, who was up the tree as well. We rallied, and the day came. Caleb was up the tree. I was sitting under the tree with a young lady, Aloha, and we were given, there was quite a lot of a kerfuffle going on with people. The contractors were putting the fencing up. That was how they were going to approach it, to try and just exclude us from what is in fact public land that's next to the road there. And it got to a point they'd successfully got the fencing round, and everyone had sort of been cleared except for the 2 of us. And the police said that we would trespass, so they took our details, trespassed the 2 of us, and then gave us a period of time of a couple of minutes to make another decision as to whether we were going to leave on that basis of being trespassed before we were arrested. Talked to Aloha about it, and she was not comfortable really about getting arrested, and I agreed. She's young. She was concerned about, sort of ramifications longer term. So I said, I think it's the right call as well for you to, when they come back, to go with them and not be arrested. So that's what happened. And then I was clear in my mind. It wasn't a hard decision for me. I've just had a strong connection and conviction with this. And the police were pretty reasonable, and they just said, look, this is it, time to make a call. I said, I'm not going, so, do what you got to do, officer. And, another few minutes went by, and they came, and, a few words were spoken about the situation. I said, no, I'm here, And then that was it, let off, gave Caleb a wave, and got taken to Avondale Police Station and processed. So, and charged with willful trespass.
And your charge still stands, right? Like, Caleb was discharged, but your charge still exists?
That's right. I'm still facing the court on Thursday.
Yeah. Wow.
That's Thursday the 18th of February at 9 a.m. on Auckland District Court.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about that, Noel?
Well, in some ways, I feel pretty good about it. I mean, look, I just feel like it's the right thing. It's been really clear cut. I mean, there's all sorts of layers and complexities to this, but it's like, okay, I I can't quite believe that it's come to this, but it's like, well, okay. I mean, it was a really shockingly bad week for trees in and around Avondale.
Yeah.
I'd been only 2 days previous to that witnessed the felling of two pahutakawa and a rimu on Henry Street, just like 300 or 400 metres away, and that was pretty gutting. And unnecessary. Those two trees were right on a road boundary, and when the development was going ahead, they could so easily have incorporated that. Something I would like to make clear: I'm not anti-housing at all. In fact, it's a necessary thing. But to me, these mature, graceful trees are actually imperative for keeping that quality of amenity in our urban environment, and they'll just become more important. We did a sort of back of the envelope calculation on the developments just right around in Avondale. There's a big one going on across the other side of Ash Street, next to the Avondale Bowling Club. There's, I think, 150 apartments going in there. There's the Ockham one, which is where Big Mac, was the one that suffered for that. That's 117. There's another development adjacent to that. I think there's 200 plus apartments there, and there's another one next to that. The land's for sale. It's the old gas station in Avondale, and I think there's at least 100 there. And you're getting upwards of 400 to 500 apartments are going in there in the next 3 or so years. So it's just, for the sake of the people who are going to move in there as well, and the future of that.
Absolutely.
It's just quite unbelievable how short-sighted and I'm concerned with the way architects and planners are thinking with this. Why aren't they going, hang on, let's just maybe step it a little bit back from the road and allow for trees that are existing,
Well, it's just one of those things where we're never going to get them back. It's not a game of Monopoly. This is like the reality of biological life. And so I just really want to personally thank you for your bravery and for being an example and for standing up for the right thing, and also, for caring about more than just your own welfare, but caring about everybody else in that space. And so if there's a parting thought you'd want to leave people with, what do you want them to know?
Well, I think it's just, take a bit of time out to consider things a little more deeply than just, the superficial. There's more, it seems to me that the financial is what is the kind of paramount thinking, and that has to change, and it's this kind of exploiting squeeze every last buck out of something, and that, I just think, for me, that's just not right. And and I see, it was just maybe last thought was that when we were watching the pahutakawa and rimu getting cut on Henry Street, and it's violent. I mean, it's, the ringing out of those chainsaws, and there were school kids walking down Henry Street going to probably Avondale College and Intermediate, and they were looking at it, and it was just like, what are you, it's nearly like there was something not right. They were observing something. This is their future. This is, our kids and our grandkids and so on. And what is that? It just, it was this odd feeling of things weren't right. It was really wrong.
Yeah.
And these kids witnessing that,
Yeah.
seeing what that is.
Yeah.
Wendy, is there anything you'd love to add?
Oh, look, just thanks for the support. Thanks to people who have, I've got a lot of people have been, like really supportive of what's gone on. I mean, I was just there. Like I say, it wasn't a hard decision, and obviously in Caleb, for his, I mean, what an image, a young fella like that hanging onto a tree for dear life, really, literally for the tree.
Yeah.
Just all of the folks who are involved in taking their time and energy and trying to do the right thing by
Thank you.
The trees.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you, and best of wishes with appearing in court. May you have an easy time, and may this not be too difficult for you. Wendy, is there something you want to add before we close this video out? Is there anything in your experience as a tree protector and a lawyer and everything you've seen as an activist, is there any piece you want to add to round out this sharing that we're doing?
Firstly, the Auckland Council Heritage Arborists tried to get Ockham to go back to the drawing board and do green design. If we are going to get green design in this city, then our heritage arborists and those people who are trying to save these trees for Auckland Council, who work for Auckland Council, must be listened to. At the moment, they are being circumvented not only by developers, etc., but also by council itself and the executive team in this decision. So it basically circumvented its own expert staff who were trying to get some better design and to save this tree. And the other thing I would like to say is we have to get to the point where our decision making puts Papatūānuku first. Mother Nature, what is good for Mother Nature must come first before everything. Mm-hmm. And if it's not good for Mother Nature, then we go back to the drawing board. And that is green design.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah, and this kind of ridiculous, that idea that if you're pro-trees, you're anti-housing, it makes me laugh,
The heritage arborist for Auckland Council did visit while we were there, mm-hmm. and said exactly that. In 13 years that he's been in that position, he'd never seen anything quite like it. And this whole thing, and they tried to, sort of frame it that the tree wasn't healthy. That just wasn't the case.
That's not true.
It was neglected.
Yeah.
They were definitely neglected, and that's something else that council need to consider is what they're doing to support trees that are actually on the schedule and to maintain them in better health.
Yeah.
Because I think they're probably lacking in that area as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I thank you both so much for your time.
Yep. Thank you.
And your energy and your bravery, and blessings to you. And may your story be an inspiration to others.
Alrighty. Hey, thank you. Good to chat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you both.